Hi, friends. Welcome again. It's another moment where we all are fired up. And I wish that you all keep on sharing so that we join in and get ourselves updated. We need every information now because it's red hot with our business on passive. And today it's another blessing to have our finest in the house. As we say, Jeffrey, you are always very welcome to this platform. Thank you for joining in again.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's my
Yeah.
pleasure.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah. So we just want to go straight to the point. I always start with a disclaimer. All of these are questions that come from people, and I want the finest responses. So that's why you are here again. So just a quick and brief one, because we think that we're all informed, but some people are so left out that we need to say some things over and over. So where are we now? Just a quick overview of where are we now with Unpassive.
Well, you're right. Everybody wants to know, especially in the last few days. Well, the other week, a couple of weeks ago, we had Mr. Mufara came on. I think it was actually last Monday, the 15th, was it? Or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah.
And gave us a very nice update, gave us a lot of information that we did not have before about things that were happening in the background with OnPassive, with the Hyderabad staff, with the products, and with the development and engineering of the O Founders website that's going to be up pretty soon. Is this a founders only, or is this a public thing that we're in?
No, this is public.
Okay.
Yes, it's just very brief, just what the public needs to know. Yes.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Okay, so good. Right now, we know that we've got the O Founders sitting in the background, kind of waiting to go online. It's going to replace the GoFounders.net site. We're expecting that imminently, in any day now. But we also know that Mr. Mufara is well, he's on the road doing some things right now, and has been since I think last Friday, and been kind of calm dark, what I call calm dark, in that he's not in his OnPassive office, and we're not hearing from him from that particular point. We are expecting to hear from him probably any day concerning where he's at and what he's doing, and the unrolling of some of the products that he was talking about the other week. The O Founders site, we're expecting probably by the beginning of next week, if not this weekend. And I know that he had been talking with some of those folks in Hyderabad, his software people, and it seems like that is a done deal. And I'm believing that it may be done while he's on the road, but I just don't know, because I have not heard personally from him about these things. So that's kind of where we're at. We're waiting for the O Founders to pop up, and that's going to be an event that's going to mark. It's going to be a catalyst, maybe I should say, for other events that are going to happen pretty quickly. Exactly. I would imagine that we would, once we get into the O Founders, probably within several days or a week tops, they'll know how it's running. And if it's running like they expect it to, like we all expect it to, then it's just a matter of scaling that for OnPassive, but even more to the point, probably going into what we call now the VIP launch, which will be doing some marketing and financial structure testing. It's going to test the money flow, and it's going to test our marketing beast, which when that happens, unless you're hiding on a rock out in the Mojave Desert, you are not going to be able to miss.
Exactly.
We're at an exciting time, and we're just, in relativity to the 3 years, we're in the last, if it was a 12-hour clock, we're in the last 15 minutes before launch. So it's it's kind of neat what we're into right now.
Exactly. So Oliver is just saying hi to you, and I hope to me too, Jeffrey. So you have just talked about all Go founders being moved to O founders, and that will be it with Go founders, right? And we understand from what we hear the CEO say that Go founders will be coming with no O founders now will be coming with some products in it, right? So
Yes.
now we want to, because when I understand from my own basic understanding, I'm not an IT person, but I understand that this is going to be like a kind of a warehouse that is going to house our products that are ready for marketing, if I'm getting it right. So what is the difference now between all founders and the ecosystem? Because it's been a long while, we've not even discussed the ecosystem anymore. So what's the difference between the two?
Well, the ecosystem that we referred to and continually call on passive products and departments, the ecosystem is actually, when you think of an ecosystem, it's a bunch of parts that all work together for the greater of the whole, and that's why we call it an ecosystem, because we have some 50 or so departments, 50 or so products, if you will, that are coming out that are all working together, and they're automated through AI, and they're sitting on top of our marketing platform.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference between that and O Founders is for the Go Founders community. That's for the founders.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be our back office, and it's going to give us a bird's eye view to the marketing that's going on, where all the leads are coming from. It's going to have our wallet. It's going to have a lot of stuff in it. Now, the products, there will be products for us to test right off the bat once he opens O Founders that are not going to be available anywhere else simply because we haven't launched yet. It will not be the full complement of products. I think there's only going to be 4 or 5 or 6 of them in there. The ONet and the OMail and OTracker, OTrim, some of those things that we know are going to be in there for us to really get our fingers in and play with. But the 15 to 20 that are ready to rock and roll right now, and the other 25 to 30 that are coming together and need to be rolled out after those initial ones, they're not going to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
But once we go into O Founders, and then from O Founders, we go into what we call the VIP launch. Then once we hit the VIP, and again, my guess is going to be, and this is just my opinion, if it runs more than 2 weeks, I'll be surprised. Mr. Mufara has really done an outstanding job.
Wow.
And you can hear those people that are a little more technical than I am, the Mr. O songs of the world, that have a good idea about what it takes to do what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll agree that he likes fancy, but he likes complete, and he likes things to run flawlessly. So my guess is within a week or two after we hit that VIP launch, you're going to see some absolutely phenomenal numbers coming in, and you're going to see customers, which are going to be more founders coming in droves. So after the VIP launch, and we go into what we call the official on passive launch,
mm-hmm.
that's when the magic is really going to happen. But it's not just like flipping a switch, Comfort. It's not you flip a switch and everything's out there all the time, all at once. It's going to be ramped up. We could not unleash 30, 40, 50 products on the world all at once. It just, if you think about it like this, think about how iPhone and how Apple does their products, and how they will say, hey, we're coming out with a new product, and they'll kind of hype it up, and they'll tell you all about it. And then by the time it comes out, it's sold out. I mean, it's probably sold out before it hit the shelves.
Right.
On passive, and the marketing that Mr. Mufara does, I mean, he's an absolute genius. He's been doing marketing for 25, 30 years. Well, maybe not 30. I don't think he's that old, but he's got a couple decades of very serious marketing under his belt, and he and his team know how to market. And this is one thing that they're going to be doing. They will be telling us what's coming, and they will have what we call a reveal, kind of show us a little bit. And then by the time it's ready to rock and roll, people are going to jump on it because these products are currently they're superior to anything that's like them and anything that's out there right now. It's a lot less costly. They're all working together. They're all under one roof. So the way that he has planned for this thing to come out is going to be phenomenal. It's going to work. It's going to be the best way to do it. And it's going to allow us the best way to transition from where we are to where we want to be. And then obviously after we get into that launch, and he's got a full year of marketing solely for the founders, not to mention, I mean, we're expecting minimally 100 million customers after the first year. Mm-hmm. And if you think about our market cap, which is anybody that uses the internet, I mean, that's 4.8, 5 billion people. And I think that's only like 60 or 70% of the world. It's just absolutely phenomenal when you think about that, because even at 100 million customers a year, it would take us 50 years to go through 5 billion people. So we've got longevity on our side. It was designed that way. Mr. Mufara and the development team have not done anything or left anything to chance. It's all based on science and math. It's all based on new technologies and things. So we got sustainability. We're going to be here a long, long time, and the products that we currently have, they're great, they're fine, but we're gonna bring more stuff in, and there's going to be a lot more technology that'll be put into upgrading all these things. I mean, we're not just a one and done company. We're in for the long haul. We're in it for stay. We are an AI IT company, and that's what we do. That's how we're registered. I mean, the technology that he's developing is cutting edge, and it's next generation, and a lot of it people don't even have. I mean, you may have seen here recently. I don't know if it's the flagship product or not, but our O Connect, I love it. I love the unlimitedness of it. I love everything that you can do in it with. I mean, it's just got really good stuff. But you noticed the other day or the other week, I think WebEx came out, and they got a lot of upgrades coming out directly, going head to head with Zoom and taking Zoom's market share. And I was reading some of the things they were doing, and I'm like, Mr. Mufara's got you guys already. I mean, he is already where you think you're going, and we've got other things ready, and it's connected to everything. So it's not one platform that you're going to jump out with, and then you hope they work with the other social medias and stuff, because everything we've got is working together. It's integrated under one platform, one roof, and they will, when they're released, they will work with all the current social medias. I mean, you'll be able to stream and send to and pull in from, and it's remarkable the way he's done all of this.
All right. Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm so fired up, and you can hear from Rakesh. He says we're so in it to win it. Of course, yes. So thank you guys for joining in, and you can see our great leader in the house, Jeffrey, is here just to answer a few questions. And we'll call you all. If you're not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do that. And why not share with other people to come on and get updates? So, Jeffrey, this takes us to the next question. We have heard the CEO, people say Ash is full of surprises. The moment we think we're done, he pops up with something so brand new. So of late, he talks about O Connect. No, not O Connect. O Network. So what is that? What's the difference between O Network and O Net? Is that a brand new product, or just tell us a bit more about that, please?
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. Mr. Mufara has got some tricks up his sleeve. I mean, they're not real tricks, but it's kind of what I call, tricks up his sleeve, where he comes out with stuff and we just go, wow, we didn't really see that coming. Right. But then again, I mean, this is what he does. This is who he is, and his whole development team and his engineering people and everybody, and all the staff in Hyderabad, they sit around and you know how Marty and his group have got some what we call, I think, the round table now. I envision that Mr. Mufar has got to have people that sit around, and it's what I call his brain trust. It's people that know the cutting edge, know the trends, and know where they're going. And he comes up with this stuff and says, you know what? There's nothing that we cannot do. We can do anything. If we put our minds to it and decide to do it, there's nothing going to stop us. So that to me is part and parcel with what you're saying, is he comes up with these surprises, and that's exactly where they're coming from. He's got a brain trust that talks about that sort of thing. But when you start talking about ONET or O Network, a social media platform, it's like, well, how do you say that? It's like your social media platforms that you have today, in that it connects, you and me and various other people, wherever it is that you wanted to get connected, friends and families. It has features like, marketplaces and groups and watch things, and, you can send audio and visual content and just anything that you can do. But the beauty of what we've got and what Mr. Mufara has done with his platform is, well, first and foremost, it is made with new technology. It's cutting edge. It's clean. It's fresh. It's simple to use. It will already, as soon as it comes out, it's going to be able to interface with all of these other ones. So there's a universality to it. You know what I mean? There's a much broader range of use that's much easier. So even if you just know how to turn the computer on and click a button, you're going to be able to use this, because like with all of his products, it's going to be an unlimited kind of a product, and there's going to be icons, and there's going to be buttons, and there's going to be clips, and there's going to be little chats. If you have any question about anything at all, it's going to follow you. Now, he's got some neat things in some of his tools that are chatbots, so to speak, and AI that help to not only integrate them together, but will interface one-on-one with the user. And that, to me, is absolutely incredible, because the AI that he's got in these chatbots makes them emotionally intelligent. They will be able to discern how you're feeling, where you're trying to get to, what it is that you're trying to do, and how you are that particular day. And the best thing about all this is the AI that they've developed, and they've developed their own. They haven't gotten anything from third party or anything, is that it's going to get smarter. The smarter, every day that it gets used, the smarter it gets. It's going to recognize you as a person or as an individual. It's going to know who you are and where you're at. And the platform that you're referring to is going to be something that will connect you globally, and it'll be real easy, and it's fresh and clean and just really sweet and smart. And that's a telltale sign. That's part and parcel with everything that Mr. Mufar has done, with the integration of AI and making the smartness part of it, and the emotional intelligence, everywhere from a chat to the online support and everything. It's just going to be a phenomenal way to go into the future.
Wow. Thank you, Jeffrey. So, OnPassive is a company that is legally registered and recognized all over the world. And now we are over 1 million. Every founder should know by now that anybody who fails to comply with the regulations of OnPassive would suffer the consequences. So what are the things that could lead people to either losing their founder positions or being suspended?
Whoa, that I am so grateful for that. I had an experience yesterday with a founder that was kind of cross promoting within OnPassive, and that's absolutely the way they were doing it. I mean, you can go out and do whatever you want. But when you start cross promoting, that's against our non-disclosure. I mean, if that's an in your face kind of no. But some of the things that you're referring to, you're absolutely right. We have people that if you go to YouTube, if you go to some of these other social media sites, and they're advertising on passive all wrong. They're talking about being filthy rich, and they're sitting on top of $250,000 cars, and they're just doing things that aren't right. Sooner or later, we're going to catch up with them, especially once we get O Founders, because we're going to sign a new NDA when O Founders comes out. But even more than that, if there's any questionability about the marketing media that anyone's putting out from the founders, now this is founders specifically addressing to. If there's any question about the integrity or the impropriety that's in that media, our legal team, which is it's big and it operates in every corner of the globe. I mean, so we've got a global legal team. They will go after them and let them know you need to, they'll probably give them a shot over the bow saying, this really isn't something we want out there. That's not how we do business. So please take it down. And if they don't, then they'll go after them with the big dogs for their marketing media. As far as anybody doing things directly in opposition to our non-disclosure, of which I mentioned one earlier, when you're cross-promoting, there are programs out there. Mr. Mufar has already said that's a no-no, and that's one good way to get either suspended or have your account deleted, is to start pushing other opportunities, and I'm not saying opportunities good, bad, or whatever. I mean, most of the ones we see are scams that are being pushed onto founders, or at least they're not what they're purported to be. And when I'm referring to that sort of a cross promoting kind of a thing that Mr. Mufar said we're not going to tolerate, I really am talking about founders that are promoting to other founders they did not know before on passive. In other words, if I've got a leader that gets a hold of me and they did not know me before on passive and says, hey, I've got a product and an opportunity I want you to try. First of all, I'm going to say, time out. You didn't know me. You don't know me from Adam except through on passive. So right now you are in violation of the NDA. Now, I don't care what your product is. You're violating the NDA right now.
All right.
Now, if people send emails to me like that, and I don't know who they are, but I know they're a founder, I may go back with a nice little message saying, this is really a no-no, and you're putting yourself in harm's way by sending this to me. But there's others that I've talked to even yesterday that have gotten these, that immediately what we'll do is we'll send this or that email straight over to legal on passive and let them take care of it. And I know that a lot of that is going on. So there's going to be a lot of founders that are going to be very, very disappointed when the legal team gets a hold of them because their account has been suspended because of activity that does not jive with the integrity and ethics that Mr. Mufara wants to run on passive with. So inside of on passive, that's effective, and outside of on passive, that's effective, because we are a real company with real products. We have real technology, and we have real support and real staff, and hundreds of them. And he does not want to jeopardize any of that. We are always above board. And like you said, we're registered in more than 200 countries and operate right now in more than 200 countries with founders. I mean, we're over 1 million founders. So there is no way that we can, we have to be above reproach. We have to avoid even the appearance of improprietary activity. Is that the word? Even the appearance of impropriety is what I'm saying. We have to be above board. We have to hold that standard of excellence, which what I call the on-passive class. And for those people that want to choose to go outside and color outside the lines, you know, you're putting yourself in jeopardy, and I would not do it. Especially some of these bigger leaders. We know who you are. I see them. I talked to some yesterday. These are leadership council people of that caliber. And I'm thinking, don't think you're too big that you won't get suspended, you know, because Ashley's already put it out there. So I would just encourage everybody, do what's right because it's right. Hold the standard, you know, be patient. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background, you know, so and I apologize, I get long-winded, but that's a very good question, and it needed to be put out there.
It's not long. Unfortunately, I'm going to lengthen in a bit because you would have apparently you would have answered the question I'm about to ask, but for the sake of more clarity, I'm asking it again, right? So, who should report a case of non-compliance if you find one? Is it any founding member, or is there a team of whistleblowers set aside just to watch out on that?
It's my understanding there is no set team. It's all about responsibility. This is our business, your business, my business. It's my wife's business, you know, my friend's business. We got 1 million+ founders, and it's our business. And every one of us have the responsibility to stop anything that will cause harm to our community. And when you start cross-promoting and you start promoting very questionable things, that is not good. So each and every one of us, if we hear from anybody within OnPassive, and the first question you ask is, did I know this person, and did they promote to me before OnPassive? If the answer is no, they're in violation. Plain and simple. And it's everybody's responsibility. If you just, you know, you can get a hold of the leadership council if you want to. You certainly don't have to. You can just send an email straight to OnPassive Legal and say, this was sent to me, I don't know what to do about it. And just send it to them and wash your hands of it. That way you can feel good that you're doing what you need to do, and just let legal. That's what they're there for, and that's what they're going to do. So to answer your question, we're all responsible, every one of us.
Oh, thank you so much, Jeffrey. Thanks. Guys, you're all welcome. And I really I would appreciate if we can all give thumbs up to our leadership council member, Jeffrey, who was taking time to be here again to answer some of our questions. I think we really do appreciate that, Jeffrey.
You know, I see Oliver saying, hey, are we going to be a super unicorn the first year launch?
Yes.
I mean, we're expecting 100 million customers after the first year. So, I mean, yeah, the math is there. The math is there. Yeah. Right. I wouldn't worry about that.
Okay, thank you for taking care of that. I appreciate it. So, after we launch, right, we know about these 7 days of trial before we start paying in our activation fee. What exactly do we expect during these 7 days? What is expected of us, or what do we expect as founders? This is just a question that came in, and I think you would like to answer.
Well, as founders, I would, for me, my subscription is going to be paid. I'm going to be locked in long before we ever hit that 7 days. But once we launch, the 7 days is there. It's just a free test of everything that we've got. People can be invited. They can come in. They can poke around, test it, feel it, play with it, you know, sniff it, smell it, that sort of thing, and see what it's all about. And if they like it, then they can just get 1 or 10 or all of the products, you know, and it's just a free testing. Now, there may be some things I'm not real sure if Mr. Mufara is going to change that 7-day free thing, or if that still is a valid opportunity for us right now. I'm not really sure. I haven't heard too much about that, but it has been a long-standing understanding that everybody will have a 7-day free trial where you can just jump in and just carte blanche test whatever you want to test. My guess is, and my expectation is, that as soon as anybody gets in and sees how easy, how sophisticated, how complete, how integrated, how smart, right? How fresh this is. It's a no-brainer. They're going to get into it and they're going to love it, you know?
That sounds a bit exciting, because it means people who are not founders are going to have an opportunity to test the real stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Once
Which
we
sounds,
launch,
yeah, which
sure.
sounds
Once
like
we launch,
yeah.
people can come in and test it, play with it, and have fun with it. I can't imagine. And remember, it's still my understanding that a lot of the customers that we get right now, there's going to be a couple of different ones. You've got customers that are going to be using the products. And the beautiful thing is, you know about Mr. Mufar's concept of unlimitedness, right? Which runs throughout. That's a theme that runs throughout everything in On Passive. But he also loves the idea of economy to scale. And that just simply means that whenever you've got more of something, each of those things in that something become less expensive because you've got more of them going out and being bought. So I say that to say this, that after launch, when we have customers coming in, they might come in and get onesies or twosies or 3 or 4 of the products, but eventually, who's not going to pay $250 or $300 a month for everything as opposed to $200 or $300 a month for 5 or 10 of them? You know, and that's the economy to scale. And they're going to have that ability to jump in and get that monthly subscription and use everything that we've got. And you've got to remember, we have everything that anyone will need for any online presence, whether that's a business or whether it's a hobby, whether it's, education, or whether it's whatever it is. So it is a no-brainer to spend that, and that will also open them up if they choose to become a reseller. So you can be a customer and use the products. You can also be a reseller and resell the products, and you can earn a very lucrative income through On Passive as an independent reseller. So they've got lots of opportunity, and all of that opportunity starts with that free trial. Yes, ma'am.
Wow, thank you so much. What you just explained, it reminds me of Ashish saying that everybody wins. This is just so
it's a win-win-win. I mean, how many times have we heard Mr. Mufara say that? It's a win-win. I mean, absolutely. And that's why we are in it to win it. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. So Jeffrey, at the beginning, we learned that founders would need to renew their positions every year after we launch. Is that information still valid? And if yes, how much would the renewal fee be?
It is. It's very valid. The subscription for founders right now is the $97, and that is for benefits of the position only. So that does not follow into it, does not pay part of the subscription. It's just a one-time payment right now, $97, that allows quite a few things. And first and foremost, to pay that, you are now in On Passive in an elite position, which will be a limited position. By that, I mean that when we do launch, the gates close. There will never be any more founders like we are, period. Right. And that's forever. The cost of it, my personal opinion, I think that he brought down, it should have been 1,000 or more. It could very easily have been, and may well be if, whatever. But I think that he just really wanted us to understand that 97% of those that were online, it was just the cards were stacked against us, and we really couldn't make a decent living. And I think that $97 is kind of it's just kind of a token number that says, you know what, we're going after that 97%. But that's just my philosophy. It is a yearly renewable subscription. If you use the word subscription, I guess that's accurate. Yeah. But like the subscriptions that we pay monthly for the products, we're expecting that the second month in, after you pay that initial subscription for the products, the second month and all subsequent months are going to be paid for out of your profit. And that's how lucrative it can be. It's the same way with the founder position renewal, which is it's going to be one year from the date of launch. That's when the real clock starts on that 1 year that we paid the $97 for. We just get freebies, like the back office, and we get all this marketing, and we're going to get marketing campaigns done for us. We get to pre-build our network, our net worth, if you will, all for that $97. And it's right now not even on the clock. The clock doesn't even start until the day we launch. So 1 year after the date that we launch, it's going to roll around, and there's going to be a renewal of that subscription. Now, we're not really sure what that's going to be right now, and I think it's still in a state of flux. However, what we do know is that it will not be a problem to be pulled right at, and that, just like your subscriptions, will be paid right out of your profits. So that's, again, the founder's position is a one-time payment now, and we don't ever expect to have to pull out of pocket for anything again, with the exception of the first month of the subscription, the $200 or $200 to $300, whatever that is. That'll be a one-time out of pocket. After that, every month after that, then everything's going to be pulled out of your profits. And this, again, is according to math. And we know that it's there, and there's so much more that I can't even talk about.
Oh, yeah, of course. Everybody likes the language of there is so much more. So, guys, if you really appreciate our leadership council member Jeffrey, why not give him thumbs up for the good job he's doing? Subscribe, why not, if you haven't yet. Thank you for joining. So, Jeffrey, thank you once again. That was a great one. But I'm having a follow-up question on that. Would I lose my founder position if I don't renew after 1 year?
Well, we'll put a little short answer is yeah, but let me expound on that. Let kind of explode that view for you. Please. Because it may well be that you won't qualify to renew. So don't think just because you're a founder now that you're going to be a founder forever. Because like you were saying about the things that people do they shouldn't be doing, well, if it's determined that we've got a founder that first year and they're out doing all sorts of terrible things and hurting non-passive, when their account comes up for renewal, the legal team will get a hold and say, we've noticed what you've been doing. We see what you've been doing, and we're not offering you a renewal. You'd hate to see that happen. And I don't know if it would, flesh out exactly like that. But I do know that Mr. Mufara has said there will be qualifications to renewing. So if you're not a founder in good standing, you won't be able to renew. And that's going to, man, yeah. So, but the short answer to your question, if you choose not to renew, yeah, you lose your founder position.
Okay. Thank you. I think this is very useful information, guys. Just do well to share, because some people have refused to learn and they will be caught somewhere, find themselves wanting when we have everything out here. So kindly share to our loved ones. Thank you. So let me quote our CEO. Actually, let me paraphrase, because if I say I'm quoting, I may be lying, right? So you will hear him many times. I don't want to misquote him, so I'd rather paraphrase. Many times we will hear him say things like, as for the cars, you will get them. Houses, you will get them. Anything you've ever imagined, you are definitely going to get them. And he's only worried, Mr. Ash Mufara, the CEO of OnPassive, his only worry is you are going to have everything, even what you thought would never happen, right? His worry now is, what will you be doing with the excess? This means so much to him. So can you clarify this to our dear founders to know, because Mr. Ash knows that it's already a done deal the moment you sign, and he's going to feed us so much that we will definitely have to spit out the rest. So what will happen to that excess? What does Mr. Ash Mufara want this done with?
Well, boy, that opens up a whole lot of territory for me. I'm just going to start by saying Mr. Mufara's heart is one that spews benevolence. It is very generous. It is generous to a fault to the big picture, and his whole idea of OnPassive and the decentralization of the funding that's going to run through on passive and then through the founders and out into the world is anticipated to lift humanity's humanity, but to raise the human condition globally. Now, having said that, the philosophy is this, and quite simply, Mr. Mufara knows, just like his family, my family, your family comfort, we need to have X amount to be able to exist and to be able to live and to be able to live comfortably without sweating, paying the bills or paying taxes or buying our kids, food and shelter and food and clothing and that sort of thing. He understands that. Everybody needs a certain amount. So one of the things that he is guaranteeing in saying that you're going to be successful, and success has different definitions for different people. My definition of success is not living in lack, not living in want, but having enough. Now, I might not drive a Maserati or even a brand new Lexus, but I've got a nice car that gets me from point A to point B. I've got my refrigerators full. My kids have shoes. Everybody's, happy. I don't stress the end of the month and trying to make the bills meet. We're living in enough to where life is comfortable. So we know that much. He's guaranteeing that much, but he's also saying we're gonna do more than that, because his philosophy of sharing the profit from on passive, especially through the founders, and that is not going to be a little bit of profit. I've heard Mr. Ellis, Mike Ellis with On Passive Nation, and a few others, but he's very good about what he does, and he's a marketer a long time. And I've heard him say it may be 50, 60, 65% of the profit coming through on passive that will be shared with the founders. Now, when you start generating that kind of income, hundreds of billions of dollars, and start getting people to understand you don't have to worry about you and your family. You're going to be okay. And more than that, you're going to have excess. So not only is your family going to be okay, but you're going to have enough put aside for a rainy days in case anything happens, you're good to go. And then on top of that, you're going to have more than you need for that. So you're going to be able to walk across the street. And for the young lady that's a single mom, she's got 3 kids and they need shoes, or they need school supplies, or they need a new refrigerator, or perhaps whatever they need, you're going to be able to offer that to them benevolently, just because you care, just because your heart takes a cue from Mr. Mufara's heart, and you have a compassion to see these people in our neighborhoods, each and every one of us, wherever we live, to be lifted to our own standard of living. So if I've got neighbors down the block that have less than I do, that perhaps struggle with their electric bills, which perhaps they have cars that need to be fixed, or whatever, I can go to them and I can freely give to them through grace, which is a grace that on passive is extended to me through Mr. Mufara and given me enough and said, Jeffrey, man, we love the way you are. We love you as a founder. We know you've got a good heart. We're making sure you're living in abundance so that you can go out and help those people in your area, in your community, in your city, in your town, in your state, in your country, and the globe. And think about it. We've got 1,000,000 founders. Plus, we passed that a week ago.
I know. Right.
I've said it before. That's at least one founder every 200 square miles. When you were talking about what are we going to do with excess? Anything you want to do. It goes back to Mr. Mufara saying, if you can conceive it, we can do it. And like he said, I don't need $1 million a day. He said, me and my family, everybody involved, I don't need anywhere near that much. So my goal, Mr. Mufara's own goal, something we should take and emulate, is to give away $1 million a day, to give to wherever it needs to be. We should do the same thing. We're going to have more than we need for our own tanks, so to speak. I think he uses the car metaphor. He said, you're going to have enough to keep your tank full and then some. It's going to be, and on passive is a self-fueling, automatically driving car. And so you're going to be in the passenger side and it's going to take you. And I've said that before, that our success is going to be accomplished 95% through the work of OnPassive, because we're riding the back of OnPassive. We're on their back and they're taking us through this. So when you say, gee, what do we do with the excess? Anything that you want to do with the excess. I'm already talking to my electric people. I walked in the other day. I said, if I had 10 grand a month to turn over to you guys so that you guys could help those people this winter that are having problems paying their electric bill. She said, oh yeah, we can tell you who needs it. You can give it to them. I said, no, I want to give you a lump sum and I want you to dole it. You're the people that know. And they're like, yeah, we'd love to do that. Mm-hmm. And I said, and every month, if you guys can show me where it went and that it was really used for what, then every month you get more. And that's just one example. You know, I've got other places around town that I'm talking to. I really, oh man, what do you do with it? Where's your imagination? Whatever you can imagine you can achieve, you can. And if you've got the money, you know, just like Mr. Mufara says, if you think about it and if you want to do it and you've got the money, there's nothing stopping you. And, you know, I keep going back to Mr. Mufara because he says so many things that are just so good. You know, it's proven. The more you give, the better you feel. It's physically good for you. It's mentally and emotionally good for you to give. So give. That's what we're about. We're going to be the first company in the history of recorded humanity that builds a benevolent structure of generosity and compassion into the digital framework. That's our AI with heart. Woo. Oh man, if people could just get this, then they would have no qualms. They would go sign up right now and sit on their duff until we launch and just wait for it all to happen. You know, but it's kind of like Jesus said, you know, those with ears will hear. And if you're not hearing our message, it's because your heart is not where it needs to be with us. So that's my answer. I mean, whatever you want to do with it, that's what you can do. But the money will be there for you.
I know, that's it. This very topic touches me deep down that I can let you speak for 48 hours and I'll never hear till the end. So I just really appreciate. Guys, thank you for joining. And as you can see, our star in the house just doing it the way he's good at doing it. So kindly give him thumbs up. And if you joined this at some point, you will definitely want to find time and watch through this so that you share with loved ones. This is very useful information. Why not share on the comment section? What will you be doing with your excess?
That's excellent.
What Jeffrey said. Share with us so that I put it on the screen. Let him see and know what people are planning to do. I've learned a lot already from what he said. I've never thought like that, Jeffrey, but it's something to consider because I know how I feel in winter, right? And I would like to be warm. Why not others, right? So share what you are planning to do and let's see what we all are up to. We can do it as a team, can't we? So thank you once again, Jeffrey. So this one is I'm just smiling now, but I'm just happy. I'm just happy you can't punch me in the face because I'm really far off, right? So
well, you know, the back and forth that you and I have, the discussion here, this isn't rocket science. I mean, you're loving what you're doing, and I'm loving talking to you. I love your smile and the way you are and the energy you have and just the goodness of your heart. I mean, it comes through. And we're just having a good time talking about a company that wants to do good for the world. That's it. You know, I'm not out here bashing anybody else and doing anything bad. I know I keep hyping Mr. Mufara up, but I mean, my gosh, the man has changed my life even before we launch. I mean, because of what he has allowed me and the grace that I have been afforded through the OnPassive opportunity, I have become globally minded. And I have looked at things through a prism or a glass, a magnifying glass, if you will, at a global level that I've never seen, you know, especially the last couple of years. When you look at some of what appears to be chaos that we're going through, and then you've got all of and I've talked about the different energies. I've talked about the science of it. I've talked about the paradigm shifting and how many is going on. with the political systems, with the educational systems, with the medical systems, with all of the systems in the world in a state of flux, which we call chaos, which is just a section between one system breaking down and going into a new system. And right in the middle of that, and everything esoteric and otherwise that have to do with physics and subtle energies, everything right in the middle of it. Here's on passive. Ash Mufara rises up with a benevolent heart, saying, "We're going to put benevolence and generosity and compassion and a compassionate factor into a business structure, and that is going to carry all into the world." And it blows my mind at how big this thing is. And people just don't get it because they're small-minded, and all they see is, oh, this is one company, and there's a whole lot of promises, but we haven't seen any products. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. If you haven't seen what we're doing, you're not looking in the right place. You're just not seeing it, So, I mean, I love you, brother, but come on.
Jeffrey, you know what? You just talked about people being small-minded and not seeing what Unpassive has got to offer. I just want to read to you a conversation.
Oh, well, wait a minute. I don't mean to call people small-minded.
No.
We're just not focused in the right area.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Your viewers, all our founders, people are, they're brilliant. They can figure things out. But, okay.
Sorry, we all, even me, I will not appreciate that we sit here and call people names. It's not a good thing to do, right? So I was just going to read this, which was, I found so sweet, I had to make actually a flyer of it. This is a very passionate founder who shares with people because she can't just keep it to herself. And it's not working the way she wants. And she tells me that, comfort, people fast and pray for financial breakthrough. And God sends an angel called Mr. Ash to us. And we close the door and go back to continue praying for financial breakthrough till the kingdom come.
Yeah.
So that's just it. So it's just a way of encouraging people. It's not like we're saying this, but we just feel that we wish everybody could understand. But it's not any way being mean to anybody at all.
Right, right.
So guys, we're approaching the end of the show, and if you have one question or two, I'll give you the benefit to call on our leader to answer it. While you do that, if at all you've got one, I'll ask my own last question, which goes like, Jeffrey, with what currency are we going to be paid? That's why I was.
Where do you live? Whatever your local currency is.
Yeah.
Again, Mr. Mufara has worked very diligently, and it has been not without a lot of pain to work with every currency that we possibly can. And so whatever your local currency is, or whatever you choose, even the crypto, it doesn't have to be fiat. It can be crypto. There's going to be crypto out there that you can get, or whatever your local currency is in fiat, you can get paid in that currency. So that's not an issue either. He's covered the bases. He has covered them.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jeffrey. I really appreciate your time and your patience. You're always there all the time. And I only pray that God should bless you abundantly because you are touching lives around the world. Everybody turns in when they see that you are speaking because you've got to offer just exactly what people need to hear, and it really helps. Wow. Thank you.
You are very, so very welcome. And I've got to tell you, it's not about me. It's not me. I'm a founder, and just like you and a million founders like us, we all see it. We all have compassion. We all have the ability to lift those around us, and every one of us are significant in the things that we are doing. So I will iterate again, what Mr. Mufara says is, do something good for your business today. Do at least one good thing for your business. Go out, if it's just a comment or a post or a like, if you can do videos, great. If you can attend a webinar, great. Whatever it is that you do, that is your gift. That is your strength. That is where you are, and that is what is needed. And that's what makes you significant. We're all significant, every one of us, unique and significant in this, and we are in it to win it all together. And like Mr. Mufara says, we're going to win bigger together.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining in. And if you came late, please, what was this? Please, when will it be lunch, please? All right, thank you, Yannick. We we don't want to discuss this here now. I'm really sorry. I'm not being rude, Yannick, but please, please, we can't discuss this, right? You want to attend your founders only meeting. We answer all types of questions, but this is a public webinar. We're live on YouTube, so we can't answer certain types of questions.
We can say publicly it's going to launch when it's ready, and that's what we want.
Okay. All right. At least you had a I apologize though. So thank you, Sylvia. Thank you all guys for joining. We are just shutting down now. Jeffrey has done a wonderful job. Please go back and watch this video, share with friends. It's very useful information. Tell your founders and your team members to get themselves updated now, because at some point Jeffrey will not be here. When we launch, Jeffrey will definitely need time off to go and have some rest so that he comes back and starts business, and will not be holding webinars again. Will not be there to explain these things anymore. Am I lying, Jeffrey? I think it's true, right? So
I'm having lots of fun, and by the way, that's one of Mr. Mafar's elements of his business. And people want to know what the business is. They can just search on passive business model. But I think somewhere around element number 11 is you got to have fun. So the guy's got a heart for fun too.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And thank you guys. See you again really soon. Bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you.